Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the fun and games of traversing the Pacific Ocean in September of 1933, where we find our glorious investigators having quite innocently managed to navigate past complete refrigeration failures, crew murders, and all sorts of other perfectly normal things that occur shortly after having been turned from landlubbers into shellbacks. So let's go around and find out who we actually have in the scene. Starting off with Valentina.
Hello, I'm playing Valentina Russo, and this trip is a lot more interesting than I thought it would be. It's perfect for the newspaper.
Continuing on with the good ex Dr. Tremblay.
Yes, I am Dr. Roger Tremblay, getting back into the good graces of physicianhood, and apparently I have been seasick because I don't recall anything that happened last time. Must have been up in bed, but ready to go.
In absolutely, yes, the Pacific has been quite a terror for the good doctor. Continuing down to our esteemed dog mistress, Big Suze.
Hey y'all, Big Sue's. Even without refrigeration, as long as I can stay warm with my dogs, we're all good.
Um, Continuing round, we'll head into the academics who hopefully will be able to provide the brain power to solve all these mysteries. Dr. Wigglesworth.
Professor Edward C. Wigglesworth, Harvard PhD. My specialties are gemology, geology, petrology, and glaciology. Happy to be aboard the Gabrielle.
And finally, but by no means least, uh, Dr. Professor Stoddard.
uh Archaeologist, well, not archaeologist, sorry, paleontologist. I don't know what I am these days. Yes, hi. uh Grumpy old man of things that have been long buried from cultures past. It is not his first trip across the sea, and because he has to get home, he hopes it's not his last, but there might not be many more after this.
So we find our esteemed investigators sitting around the table in the officers' mess um, in the early evening of September 29th, where we also find Professor William Moore. As you're discussing the results of Miss Russo's covert intelligence gathering in the various cabins of the ship's crew, in particular, one Alan Henning, where you found some quite incriminating evidence, including what appeared to be bottles that probably contained concentrated sulfuric acid. Given that the refrigeration plant was disabled by the use of acid, it's a pretty damning circumstantial evidence. But Professor Moore seems to be of the opinion that before he goes and um, talks to the captain about bringing Mr. Henning into the brig, especially for the murder of the crew member who died from strychnine poisoning. But he feels like he wants just that little bit more actual proof. And the discussion has been that you know that there is still some explosives present in the cargo hold that holds the lower cargo hold number 3, where the smaller aircraft and all the gasoline drums are kept. But it seemed like it was an incomplete installation at best. Dr. Moore's idea is that we let somebody be visually, well, for the sake of coining a phrase, arrested for the poisoning attempt, whilst the remaining members of the his inner circle, as he has taken to calling you, take turns keeping watch down in hold 3, with the idea that we can fool whoever the saboteur is, feeling safe knowing that the patsy has been taken into the brig for his crimes or their crimes, and therefore is likely to feel safe enough to come and complete the job. We can catch him in the act and put him in chains, keel haul him, or whatever Captain Vredenberg wants to do. After all, it's his ship. It was his crew member. And take it from there. Now, this is, of course, by no means an absolute, but it is what Dr. Moore suggests.
So I have 2 questions. Did we get rid of that device we found that was going? Didn't we find a bomb or something like that? And did we get rid of it? I felt like we found something down there, didn't we?
You found 2 bombs.
Okay.
One of which was basically rigged and ready to blow. The other one was partially rigged. In both cases, the amount of what it was is the use of the electrical ignition coils that weren't delivered in New York, that caused you to go and get the correct ones. But the setup down in number 3 hold is clearly amateurish, because it from having spoken with the drill people on board, who are the probably the best at demolitions, it seems like the amount of blasting caps used is just way over the top for what would be needed to set the gasoline aflame or into exploding.
But did we leave it all set up there, or did we get rid of them? Or disarm them, I guess?
You disarmed the one that was completely set up, but left it there so that in case, because at that point you didn't really have a suspect, so you didn't want to let on the game had been discovered, but you made the one that seemed to be operational safe.
Okay. My other question was, should we roll for luck refresh?
Absolutely.
Okay, so as we're doing this, just to refresh, to put in short terms, we've basically we are basically pretending ignorance and keeping an eye on suspects, letting it may be known that we've identified the fall guy and are trying to find the real person. Correct?
Yes, and Dr. Moore is actually suggesting going so far as to have a very public taking into custody of somebody as the fall guy.
Is that going to be one of us, or does he have somebody else in mind?
He suggests that it may well be one of you, just to keep the inner circle as small as possible.
One of us is in more than one of us, because I'm worried that if it was just me, I wouldn't be able to handle that.
Well, all it would be
I mean,
having to sit in the brig for, well, hopefully no more than a few days.
Oh, one of
if
us
I
is
can bring one of
going to
my
be
dogs, I'd
the
do it.
captain. You're saying?
Oh yes, so I'm sorry, says Dr. Moore. I perhaps didn't make myself quite clear.
Well, we're certainly unpopular enough with the crew that they probably believe it. Do you think it's something we can recover from with the fact that we're with the crew's opinion of us?
I'm fairly positive that once the actual culprit is identified and, as it were, publicly pilloried um, by the captain, the whatever harm your reputation might have taken with the crew, um, I doubt that, given Professor Starkweather's actions, we we would really sink any lower, as it were. His decision to carry on regardless has already earned him the moniker of Bloody Starkers, I believe, by most of the crew.
I mean, if you need someone, I'll volunteer as long as I can take one of my dogs with me.
Oh, I have absolutely no doubt that we could ask the good captain to let you be incarcerated with the dogs down in the hold. I see no reason why he would disagree with that.
Well, that just sounds like a vacation.
So Roger is just shaking his head, picturing all the ways this could go wrong. Oh, hold on, I have a visitor. You can edit that out, right? Um, anyways. So yes, Roger is definitely concerned about all the things that can actually go wrong with this. Suze, do you know that you're putting a target on your back when you do this as well, right?
I mean, sometimes you got to put your target on your back in order to suss out the snake.
Well, I don't know if this is necessarily a good idea, but if you're all going to go along with it, I mean, I'll make sure you're well taken care of, Suze, while you're down there, so that you're not bored.
Do we have any
That's mighty
hard leads?
generous of you.
Do we have any other leads or ideas to locate the saboteur besides just waiting for them in the same spot as before? They may try a next step in their plan, perhaps. Something different.
I have to admit, I feel a bit over my head on this. Usually when I'm looking at things, everything's been dead for a couple hundred years, or at least 50.
I don't know if I should maybe shadow handing myself, and then one or two of you can be lookout in the hold in case I lose them, in case they aren't the culprit. I don't know.
I just wish there was something we could do that was more proactive than wait for them to come back and do the same thing. It could work, don't get me wrong. It's not the worst idea, but as you say, there's risks. There's risks to simply leaving Suze down in the hold. What if we don't find the culprit?
I mean, the last time we had a crazy plan, we got an extra car and chased somebody down and broke into a building. So I think we're way farther ahead than we were last time.
I was the one feeling a bit sick for that one. But I suppose you're right. We've gone to great lengths to make it happen before. Well, if Suze is on board, I think it just might work.
Yeah.
I'm
And
here
for
for it.
reference, you do have about 13 days remaining sailing and greater and greater consumption of anything made with pemmican before you are due to get to Melbourne. Well, says Stockton, with that, I will leave it in your hands to decide when you wish to approach Captain Vredenberg with the timing. I'm going to go now and just make sure that he's got all the details so that he doesn't get the wrong end of the stick.
So who knows about the plan? Us? You? Is the captain going to know what we're all dealing with then?
I foresee that we are going to have to tell the captain, but I'm thinking that we keep it to the inner circle plus the captain if we at all can.
Okay. What? How should Big Suze be found out? Is that an announcement you're going to make at some point, or do we have to make that revelation publicly?
I am hoping that we can persuade the captain that he can make a good news announcement to the ship that the poisoner has been caught and is being held in the kennels pending transfer to the authorities once we get to Melbourne.
Sounds good.
Well, with that, ladies, gentlemen, I will bid you a good night, and I shall go and talk to the captain momentarily.
Wonderful.
I would
So,
imagine that the captain will make the announcement sometime at 4 bells in the morning, so 6 a.m. ship time.
so how do you want to break up the staking out of the fuel and the bombs and stuff? Are you guys comfortable being by yourselves down there, or should we be pairs?
Do we need to cover a lot of ground?
I got the impression it was like half of a room, or it wasn't. I would figure we could. I don't think it's that large.
Well, I mean, we're gonna have to do this in shifts too, right? We can't all just
Mm-hmm.
be there all the time. So
Mm-hmm.
I almost wonder if it's better to each individually take it on, and then it's easier to, keep out of harm's way and hide if when things do start to happen.
I
I
don't
have
want to offend anybody, but if it is only one of us down there, how good are you all in a fight? Or I mean, most of us have firearms, but are you going to be able to apprehend someone by yourself?
You guys brought firearms? Uh-oh.
You didn't?
Oh, I
We
did
should be
not.
wary of using those around the explosives and around the gasoline.
Yeah, short trip.
I don't
With the
think
threat,
any of us should engage a saboteur alone. If we have a weapon, they may have
Well,
a weapon also.
well, Trembles, if I'm going to be stuck all by myself, maybe these would be good for you. I'm going to hand him my 38 as well as a flask of moonshine.
I return the moonshine. I say, don't worry, I've got plenty. But I'll take this gun.
I can't say I'm a particular fan of this plan, though the only thing I can say I'm in favor of is that Sue's if Suze is interred with her dog, she'll at least have those for extra protection and sentry.
I can't say I'm entirely satisfied myself. I'm hoping to pore over the crew roster and possibly learn about any crew members who would have the knowledge to set up these kinds of explosives. I want to narrow it down however I can.
well, they did say it was overkill on the blasting caps, so maybe a rudimentary knowledge, maybe not an expert. I don't know. Or they just could have figured, hey, we're gonna make it work one way or the other.
That's a good point, Valentina.
Should we start watching that area before the apprehension is made, or should we start after it is? Because if it's going to be tomorrow morning ish when the announcement is made, there's nothing that says that can't happen tonight, right?
That's a reasonable risk.
Which I would volunteer to take the first shift if.
So what's been the pace of the other acts of vandalism? Have they been like practically like one every day almost? Does that seem like what's been happening, or has it been more spread out?
Probably more spread out, but it's difficult to tell because you don't have a good sense of when the for example, you don't have a good sense of when the blaster caps were planted. Clearly, they were put in place after the ship had loaded and presumably left New York, but they were hidden well enough that they could just have escaped notice these last 2.5 weeks.
Okay, so
The
it is definitely spread out. So I mean, it
Yeah,
doesn't necessarily mean that something would happen immediately after, but you're still concerned, Valentina, that the pace of these things is going to start picking up.
Well, I mean, if we don't know the pace, we don't know. I mean, tonight could be a scheduled Sabbath event for them. We just don't know. And I would prefer to not to have the ship catch fire this evening. So, but either way, is it evening right now, Stefan?
It is, yes. It's about 7 o'clock in the evening, so there is that particularly glorious red orange sunset on the western horizon that just seems to cover half the world, as it were, since there is absolutely nothing but the flat Pacific horizon as far as the eye can see.
I think that after dinner, I'm going to head to the hold then, and I'll watch it this evening. If someone just relieves me in the morning at some point, that will work. And if there's 4 of us, so we want to do 6-hour shifts, or we want to do 8s, or
Are we still concerned about solo shifts? I can help out.
I'm not overly concerned for myself.
I think I'll do great if I get a nice quiet day shift.
At the very least, let's split your night in half, and I'll take half, and you can take half, so you can get some sleep. We don't know what's going on.
All right. So after dinner, I would make sure I have, something to drink with me, have a flashlight, and anything else I would need, and find a place to hole up that within sight of the area in question.
Wonderful. Well, the night does pass peacefully. Just looking to see if I have. Yes, here we go. Is that one, I think. Yes. Nope, that's the wrong one. There we go. Number 3 hold. The it is quite eerie down in the dark of the hold. There is just the access stairs or ladders at either end that go up to the small hatches on deck. But it is completely dark. So you're probably bringing along a storm lantern or an electric torch or something of that ilk. But if assuming that you're going in to hide, then you're going to be hiding inside the bulk of this big open space that groans with and you can hear the water moving outside of the hull. It's both beautiful and eerie at the same time.
I think that sitting up, finding a place to hide myself on top of that plane would be a fantastic place to hide. So
Yeah, I mean, you can pop into the cockpit even and just, at least
Well,
be seated in comfort.
I believe that these are doors to the next storage area to the backside of the ship. It looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna want to be able to see all four of those, so I'll be up on top. I think.
Okay. Sure. Yep. Yep. Easily done. Um, After all, you are an employed woman, so it's not like you don't have sensible shoes to go climbing on an aircraft in. So that's easy enough. And basically, yeah, the first half of the night passes peacefully. Um, I believe it was Dr. Trombley was going to take the second half.
I think
Believe.
it was me.
Yeah,
Oh,
Stoddard.
sorry, it was to Stoddard. My bad, my bad. Stoddard, there we go.
So when they come down the stairs, I wouldn't reveal myself right away because I got to make sure that I know who it is that came in.
Hmm.
Then I would kind of wave at them and hop down.
Should I do a spot hidden to see if I can find Valentina?
Yeah, sure.
Check that box.
It's one of the only boxes I have that's already checked.
Oh, damn.
Okay, so that
Yep.
being said, I don't know how well hidden she is, but I
I
think
was
he's
going
at
to say,
least he's probably
go
not
ahead.
jumping out of skin.
Yeah, go ahead and make a stealth roll, Valentina, and see what.
Uh, that's a hard
Oh,
success.
so yeah, yeah, Stoddard comes down, and as you're coming down the ladder, you're looking around, and well, Valentina is supposed to be down here somewhere, but you can't quite locate her.
I'm half tempted to throw something at them, but I'd probably eventually, when I realize it's Stoddard, I'd sit up and kind of whistle and then kind of hop down off the plane.
So you're slightly taken aback. Dr. Stoddard is fortunately you're close enough to the bottom of the hole that it's not like you fall off the ladder or anything quite so dramatic, but there's a moment of oh, so you're given a start because of course you're also thinking, well, what if the culprit is hiding down here and I'm basically a target coming down with a light because you're sensible enough not try to go climbing ship's ladders in the slight swell, so things are moving in utter darkness. That would probably not be a healthy thing to do.
There's a nice little spot on top of the plane. It's still warm if you want to sit up there.
Well, you definitely it seemed to work well enough for you, so I'll give it a try. Thank you.
Yep. Hope your evening goes as uneventful as mine did. And I toddle off to bed.
And the night continues, fortunately, quite boringly for, well, mostly for everyone. Um, there is the loud noise of the ship's tannoy that wakens those of you that are not awake by 6 a.m. with the captain coming over the ship loudspeaker system. Now hear this. Now hear this. This is the captain speaking. It has come to my attention that there is a saboteur on board ship, but due to their reckless nature, they have been caught and are even now being escorted into a temporary brig such that we may feel completely safe for the remainder of our journey into Melbourne, where they will be put ashore for the authorities to deal with. Shortly before that, the expedition security crew were basically knocking on the door of the large cabin where Susan, I believe you were sharing with Miss Russo, if I recall.
That sounds correct.
Along with, so yes, the security chief, along with his two cohorts, arrived and basically, very politely, because being a female and all that, but still take you into custody and march you off to hold 4 aft, wherein the dog kennels are found. Let me see if I can.
If they are being careful with me, I am going to try to have a knife and my flask hidden on me, because there's always the possibility that the actual saboteur comes to try to take me out as a way of proving that, because I can't talk if I'm not there.
Absolutely. That you're basically you're given a light source because they're not completely inhumane,
Well, that's something.
and they leave basically they make sure that there's extra water and pemmican available on top of the dog rations.
All right.
The This, of course, causes quite a bit of hubbub amongst the crew at breakfast. Um, you notice that there is a palpable sense of relief amongst the various deckhands and pursers and so forth, as you're being served. Still rather coolly because, bloody Starkers. What there is for breakfast, but fortunately it's still possible to make coffee even if the protein tends to be more pemmican than bacon for breakfast. And so who all is taking the day watch or watches?
I'm not a morning person, Dr. Wigglesworth, are you?
Indeed, I am.
I will take the afternoon shift then.
I
Oh,
need 2 seconds to go AFK.
yep.
I've been told the Aurora Borealis are going
Oh,
outside right now. So
yeah.
1 moment, Al.
So
Um,
enjoy.
So
Absolutely.
after the night, Stoddard is going to catch up on some of his rest.
Perfect. So, not that there's that much difference in the inside the hold between daytime and nighttime. It's still very dark, rather eerie. So we'll start off with Professor Wigglesworth. I don't know if Professor Wigglesworth is also of the viewpoint of having listened to the previous watchers of hanging out on top of the plane, or if you'd rather be, as it were, hiding elsewhere, or I don't know, sitting in the cabin with a good book.
No, top of the plane works.
Absolutely. And it's you're relieved after some interminable period of time. Although, to be fair, um, you have enough of a light source that you can occasionally still glance at your pocket watch and have at least some sense of the passage of time. Um, by the afternoon, will come for Professor Stoddard to take over, and sorry,
The after-
Dr. Cromley is Dr.
yes.
Yes, yes, which is perfect.
No, it's
Uh,
not. I do have my flask with me as well, so I will be taking the occasional sip. I mean, it is afternoon after all.
Yep, the sun has gone over the yardarm. And Dr. Trombley, would you care to make a listen roll as you're a ways into your shift?
Okay. So I probably hear something.
Oh, with a hard success, there's every chance that you do. Uh, in fact, just quickly glancing through. There we go. So I would ask, where have you taken up station?
Everybody says that the airplane is the place to be, so
Okay.
I don't have a novel thought in my head over this espionage, subterfuge stuff, so I'm just going to do what they tell me.
No
Yeah.
ideas for a questionable plan.
Nope.
So it's probably a couple of hours into your shift. So just long enough that you're starting to get good and properly bored. You hear the unmistakable clanging of hard rubber soles on metal rungs from the starboard ladder.
And can I see from here? Or do I need to lean over?
Um, you crouch back a little bit just to make sure that you're sort of mostly um, out of line of sight from somebody coming in from above. At least you're not silhouetted. But you sort of put your head up and you see the light of the hatch to the ladder into the cargo uh, area open up, and a live form, probably male, swing themselves onto the ladder and start down. Now, of course, they're basically turned away from you, so you've got the back of what looks like um, just a more or less regular crew uniform, from what you can tell.
Okay, and I'm gonna certainly let them get down the stairs and start walking, but do I see anything that they're carrying, like over their shoulder or in their hands right now? Anything incriminating about what they might be up to?
They're carrying what appears to be an electric torch rather than a storm lantern, so that they're not giving out an awful lot of light.
Okay,
That
so
that in and of itself is maybe a little bit um, suspicious in your mind, because when you came down, you you felt that, yeah, no, doing the ladder with anything other than a storm lantern was just not the best idea in the world.
all right, so already feeling a little clandestine right now. Okay, um, I didn't think this was gonna happen on my shift, but yes, here we are. I'm gonna try and follow to see where they go, as quietly as possible without like alerting them,
Okay,
and see if I can spot, their traits, their faces, if I recognize them, anything like that.
go ahead and make a psychology roll.
I'm on a roll today.
Oh, wow. You're fairly certain, as this person moves back towards the round the side of the gasoline drums. Oh, and by the way, the red drums up here in the top left hand corner is where the explosive caps are. You're dealing with Adam Henning. You've seen them walk around and serve you in the um, officer's dining room over the last couple of weeks. Haven't seen the face yet, but just from size, the way they move, so forth, it's with that being the sort of knowing that they're the prime suspect, it just seems to fit.
Well, I want him to incriminate himself first, not just wander around the hold. I think, right? I
Yep.
hope. So I'm just
Well,
gonna
yeah.
allow him to do something that he's heading towards the blasting caps.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to try and step off behind him,
Okay.
and I'm going to pull out the 38 that I have, and I'm going to audibly click it, uh, as in like cocking it, and say, "Hold right there."
Okay. Ooh. So for whatever reason, it didn't show in the player chat.
So I'm hoping he doesn't realize I don't know how to use this thing. So that's my hope.
I mean, if you're point blank and all of that, you get, advantage. So
I didn't think of that either. I don't.
Yeah.
It looks like I'm probably like a good 20, 30 yards away.
Uh, let's see. The ship is about 75 foot wide. So you're about probably 30 to 40 foot away. So 15 yards.
Okay, not too bad.
So yeah, easily inside handgun range, but far enough away that you're not going to get bull rushed straight away. You see the person turn pretty much as soon as you click the hammer. They quite clearly heard the noise. And a torch swings around, and you see Adam heading his face go, "Who's there?" Do you wish to be clearly seen, or do you want to remain in cover?
I'm just going to remain in cover for now, and I'm going to say, so, Mr. Henning, it appears you've been caught red-handed going for the blasting caps. I'm going to just have you walk back right up, and I think we're going to bring this to the attention of the captain. What do you think?
Go ahead and make a stealth roll.
That's not going to be good.
the dog kennels aren't on this floor, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, you're on the floor above,
Okay.
and the other side of
Right.
the main.
I knew I was on the other end. I couldn't remember if I was on the same floor, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. The kennels are on the mid level in the holds.
Cool.
Okay, so we both fail by about the equal same amount. So I'm not quite sure where you are, but you're not particularly well hidden at the same time. I think I'm just going to grab a convenient piece of steel piping that happens to be lying around loose, possibly a crowbar, and just make a run towards the sound of your voice swinging around with the torch trying to find you.
Uh-oh. I'm going to fire the gun in a panic, probably more than likely, because I didn't think they were going to do that.
Sure. Feel free to roll a firearms handgun with a bonus die since you're definitely in point blank.
That's not going to help me. All right, let's see. Can I just click this? Does that work? And then how do you do the bonus die?
So bonus die, you reroll tens.
If you right click on the skill, there is a
Oh, I could have clicked the plus.
yeah.
All right, I'll just have to roll a d10.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
All right, let's just do that. That's not going to help.
93. Okay, well, at least it's not bad enough to. Well, no, it wasn't going to be bad enough in any case because it's a bonus die. But it is pretty much going to give away where you are. So I think that Adam will just come in with with an unarmed. That's true. I don't actually. Do I have a? Okay, I'll have to roll damage separately if something happens here. But we're just going to try and go for an attack which doesn't do anything. Middle of the afternoon.
Are people
Where
going to hear this?
well, where would we find? We know where we have Big Sue's, but where would we find the other three of you at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon?
At my desk, looking similar to how I was on the plane, going over that roster.
Yeah, Stoddard's probably been doing some of the research work too at this point, because he would have been up.
Can I hear the gunfire from where I am?
I'm going to say that.
Or do you want me to make a listen check?
Suze can make a hard listen check. The other three of you can make an extreme listen check. Because we're talking about a noise inside. It was essentially a metallic echo chamber levels deep down into a ship. So
I've been on a heavy cruiser. There, if you're near, it's loud.
yep. Oh, certainly Roger and Adam are very aware of the gunshots.
Unsurprisingly, Stoddard doesn't hear.
Valentina just got a regular, so she didn't hear it. She probably would have just gotten up and was getting some food from the mess hall or something like that. Walking around with some pemmican.
Yeah. So absolutely, Suze. By all means, 4 luck is cheap at half the cost, as it were. You hear what you think is a gunshot from somewhere inside the ship. You're unsure of where it actually comes from because it's just what you're really hearing is the reverberation of the echo of the steel hull.
Do I have a prison guard or am I just locked in?
You're just locked in because the captain is aware that it's really a ruse and he doesn't really want to waste crew members that could be doing real work.
Well, they may have me locked in the dog kennel, but I built the dog kennel. I'm going to break out.
Sure. How violent or how violently do you wish to break out on a scale from carefully lock picking to Hulk wise tearing the
My dogs sleep here. I have my knife with me, so probably remove 2 screws and slide a bar out so that I can eke my way out without destroying the whole thing.
Sure. I'd say go ahead and make a mechanical repair roll, probably.
There you go.
Oh, no problem. It takes a little bit of time, but not a whole lot. After all, as you said, you built them.
Sure.
You know which 3 screws you need to remove to get a space wide enough that you can make your way out. So we can just quickly pop on back in here.
I will say from our conversations earlier, I know that we were probably keeping, stalking the floor below me, so I'm going to go down there. I'll just be generally in the area and not in the right place to start with. But
Sure. In fact, so what we'll say you do is you make your way through into um, the general mechanical cargo hold that also has the smaller Curtis plane. From there into the food store that's still stinking of ammonia, and from there you can make your way into the upper the mid portion, which is empty of the hold,
Good.
and then down get to the steps down that way. So we'll have you arrive in, as it were, just a little bit. Meanwhile,
Can I try talking him down? I tell him, hey, there's we don't no sense in us getting hurt here. Let's remain calm. That this isn't the end of the line for everything. We can talk about this. Let's talk about what's going on here. Why are you doing this? That
I would say that sounds like a social role of some kind. I would imagine it's probably persuade.
probably. Yeah, I definitely don't pick the skills I'm good at. Nope.
Okay. He pretty immediately just responds with, I might as well hang for two as for one.
Well, that doesn't
And
sound very pleasant.
he'll make another attempt, but go way wide. It's not like he's got spittle coming out the side of his mouth, but you definitely get the sense that he's agitated, having been caught out by surprise, where he thought he was in the clear and safe, and he doesn't seem to be taking kindly to things being otherwise. So I guess since you pretty much ended up in melee, you do have the choice of. I mean, I know I've already rolled, but for the sake of argument, you do have the choice of dodging or fighting back or anything else.
I would more than likely be dodging regardless, so
Okay.
I mean, I guess I can roll it for the sake of rolling it, but
Yeah. Just in case you sort of dodge into the gasoline cans and.
yes, there's always a possibility I'm clumsy. But
But
no.
that's okay. That's just a. You're both basically not particularly good at this, so it's a little.
No. But I'm telling him at this point, I'm like, you've got to stand down, or I'm going to start firing. I have more bullets, I think.
Um, okay, go ahead and make another persuade roll. Since you're basically making the same argument again, I'm going to have to give you a penalty die.
Okay. So like that. Did that do it?
Uh, Possibly.
That is a pretty bad roll, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna assume it worked.
Yep. We'll assume that. Um, and we'll say that it's roundabout now that. And go ahead and make a spot hidden as well, if you would, Roger. We'll make one for
Okay.
Adam as well.
No, I am tunnel visioned on this crazy madman who's trying to bludgeon my skull.
Yep.
I'm well aware as a doctor of how that is not going to be good for my future.
Hard metal implements applied with force to the cranium does tend to be unfortunate. Speaking of unfortunate, how fast is, as Susan opens up the hatchway over the steel rung ladder going down into the compartment, she can hear quite clearly the sound of a scuffle going on and voices raised and in argument. You recognize, obviously, the voice of Roger, but also possibly the voice of Adam Henning. It's you're not you haven't interacted that much, but it's possibly him.
Well, I'm going to be moving pretty quick if it sounds like Tremblay's in a fight because I know he can't hold his own for anything.
It does sound that way, so I think I'm gonna have you. I think you have a choice. You could either just jump down and get a bit of extra speed if you make it, or you could make a dex roll and come down at a reasonably safe speed, or you could just basically spend the round climbing safely down.
Oh. Those are all horrible ideas. Let's go. Okay, it's going to hurt when I fail this roll, but let's go for the jump.
Sure.
Maybe I'll fall on someone. Oh, if I broke an ankle.
Oops.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to call that a D6 for 2 points of damage.
Oh, that ain't bad. That's nothing.
And you basically you kind of go for the superhero landing, but you don't quite get it right, so you basically just end up prone on the steel deck with random bruises.
Maybe I made enough noise so that Tremblay can get away.
But you certainly make a lot of noise. In fact, I'm going to ask our two professors and Valentina to make another listen roll, given that, because that reverberates.
Okay, but I don't have any points in listen, so we're gonna be fishing here for something good.
I mean, I didn't fumble, but that's because the 9 was on the ones die.
Wow, my physical dice made it look like I rolled a 2, but I guess that was a 70.
Yeah, well,
Valentina got an extreme success.
Go, Valentina!
Someone
so
heard it.
Valentina is in the. I think you're probably actually all sitting because it's more comfortable around the officer's mess. When Valentina just hears this reverberating clang from the area of number 3 hold.
Oh
I
no,
would probably I'd probably take off like a shot.
I think Stoddard is going to also make an effort to take off with some speed, but it's not going to be quite as much like a shot because I feel like as an archaeologist or as a paleontologist who does a lot of field work, he's probably in the realm where there's not a good knee and a bad knee. There's just the okay knee and the knee we don't talk about.
Absolutely. So what you're saying is that you move maybe not glacially, but
I mean, he can scurry, but it is not with the grace that our intrepid reporter can manage. Because he just got up after sitting for like an hour, and there's that. Okay, we're going. Oh no, let's get the adrenaline going. No, I'm
wonderful.
not speaking from life experience. Whatever do you mean?
Professor Dr. Wigglesworth?
Yes, I'm in a similar position, getting up and trying to move as quickly as I can while warming up my lower body.
Absolutely. And no doubt also just making sure that the papers are at least reasonably collated on the desk in front of you rather than getting moved off to the side in a random order.
Oh yes, Clint Eastwood has his quick draw, and I have my quick collate.
So we're going to have, I think, another round between the good Dr. Tremblay and the slightly maddened looking Mr. Henning. Um,
I'm gonna dodge. That's
yeah.
about it.
Let's see, where is Tremblay? There's Tremblay. Tremblay is dex 70. Tremblay actually goes first. You've actually got the dex on him.
Oh well, I already prepared my dodge, as we can all see.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So
No.
okay.
Oh no.
Before we get to that, you
Hey,
get
look, a penny.
you get a chance to get a strike in if you want to, or well, basically do whatever you want before you.
I fumble. Well, I mean, all I do is I just fire blindly, is what I would be
Okay.
doing.
Yeah. Go ahead and make a firearms roll with a bonus die.
Boy. Nope.
No. Oh,
Okay.
that's not the bonus.
Go ahead and roll a luck roll.
Where's your bonus die at?
Yeah. Trombley gets another D10 for attempt on the.
I clicked it. It didn't work. Like,
No, it's only
I,
showing
I,
one.
I think it. I suspect that it may be including it. It just doesn't, for whatever reason, show it. I am actually I'm actually talking to the developers tomorrow, so that's a question I need to ask.
yeah, if they could make it at least visible, because I do click on the bonus die button and then click,
Yeah,
but it would nice to have feedback on it.
it would
Mhm.
definitely be.
Either way, let's do this.
Okay, yeah. When I yes, if you look at the yeah, there's an additional trick. You can click on the plus, but then you have to click on the regular hard or extreme underneath it. You can't click on the skill itself.
Yeah, so you do actually need to roll one more D10.
Yeah,
All right, let's do that then.
because I just did one for Adam, and it shows up as a D100 plus one D10 normal, as opposed to just a D100.
Okay, so it basically is not highlighting my selection until I leave the menu itself, which is not a good way to.
Or you in when you bring up the menu, it has the regular hard extreme. on there.
Yeah, okay.
Like those, not the
Actual button itself
yeah.
with the weird. Yeah,
It's
not obvious.
not exceedingly clear. I'm definitely gonna have to have a word with them on that. But in any case, so that's a shot that goes wild. How you failed your luck roll.
Yes, and I'm gonna dodge, but I mean, maybe he could critically fumble his
There-
own
there- there-
attack as
There's,
well.
there's a chance here that he will do something. He's by no means capable. Yeah, good call. Good call.
Wild. Wild.
You guys are gonna knock each other out.
Well, I think he gets to make a quick luck roll. No, he doesn't have luck because he's not a good enough NPC to have luck.
So he just fails it.
So I think what happens here is that
A
he's
scene from the
going.
Three Stooges, maybe? Like,
It, it,
it
it, it,
swings
it,
around and hits himself.
this is pretty much Keystone Cops territory at this point. Between Zeus landing flat on the ground, Adam striking, missing completely, swinging an extra half a turn around, and striking the steel bar that he's wielding actually into one of the fuel cans,
Oh, good.
causing a little bit of a gasoline leak. Meanwhile, Roger has fired off a shot and has managed to trip himself up. The good news is that he fumbled the dodge, not the shot. Because fumbling the shot would have led to him actually hitting one of the blasting caps with a failed luck roll. Which, now that we have a gasoline leak, probably wouldn't have been good. So he's just going to dodge into a set of the gasoline barrels, causing a little bit of a domino effect. So it's now uneven ground and difficult to move because there's now rolling gasoline cans in his area. Which actually helps him somewhat because it means that Adam can't really get to him either. So there's that. And this, I mean, I'm just going to assume that Susan is going to stand up and start making her way across.
Absolutely.
You will say you get about halfway into the chaos, since it takes a while to stand up. What is Susan's dexterity when she's at home?
Dex is 30. It's good.
Okay. Yeah. So um, we'll start off again then at the top with Dr. Tremblay.
And he's still just flailing around with this thing, right? And I haven't spotted I haven't spotted Big Sue's coming around the corner yet, so pretty much figure I'm still on my own.
Yes.
All right, I'm still fumbling with this gun. I've got 3 more bullets left.
Mm-hmm.
Well, firing away. You're still hearing gunshots, Susie. You recognize it as your own gun.
You still get another D10 on that check.
Oh, we're still doing.
You're still close
yeah,
enough.
you're in close range, so
Oh,
or
all
point
right,
point
all right.
blank.
Oh, there we
There we
go.
go. Okay,
That's hard.
yeah. So go ahead and what is it? Tomo, D8 plus 1 probably.
It
Yeah,
is.
it's 1d8, I believe.
So, am I wrong in thinking that
Oh,
that would be 100 then?
oh, you're right.
Because
It
that's
is
a 0
100.
and it's a 50 above it, so
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
would
yeah, 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 yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
no, you're right.
like
Sorry, yeah, you're right.
I
Good catch.
I'm sorry, Roger,
Oh my gosh,
but
it is a 0. Two
Yeah,
zeros. I thought I was. I didn't pay attention to the other number.
No, you're right.
All right,
I
100.
also assumed it was
no,
because
Which
I
is
was like,
it's
fine.
a
he
it's a
rolled a
bonus die.
1
You
for the
you just have
10
to take the
point.
50. So
Yeah. No, we're still good. You didn't just
yeah,
Wait,
kill us all.
no,
Yeah.
if it's a double 0, that means it's a 2.
Oh.
no, it was a
it,
50, and then it became a
it's a bonus die, so the 5 is better than the 50
The
is better
0.
than the double 0.
yeah.
Yeah. So I
But
got a 50.
uh, that doesn't make sense though, because you can roll below a 10. You can't roll above 100. So it should be a 2 he rolled, not 102.
Where are you getting the 2 from?
You rolled
Oh,
oh, it's
yeah.
50 versus 20. Sorry. No, that was me reading the wrong thing. I saw 50 versus 20 and I thought it was you wrote a 50, a 5 and a 2, and so I
Oh,
thought it was a
yeah.
52.
If it was
Okay.
a 5 and a 2, it would be a 2.
Yes,
Yeah.
Right.
exactly.
That's where I was
Yep.
confused. I'm
Yeah.
dreadfully sorry. I misread the output. I was just like, these numbers, they don't add up. Guess who's failing at math?
We've all been there.
Yeah, the bane it's the bane of BRP is the subtle difference between double ought anything and double ought 0. Uh, even I mean, I'm as bad as anybody else, even though I rolled 2d10s explicitly to try to clear my brain for it.
So wait, Roger here has advantage. His first roll is 50, and then the second dice that he rolled, he
Is
just rolled a single d10, and the result was 10, right?
Yeah,
Because when
so
you have a bonus die, it
Okay.
just replaces the first digit, not the second.
yeah,
Okay.
If you
Yep.
roll zeros or I say tens across the board, it's 100.
Right. Yeah, that's what he got. It's even worse. Okay. Got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
I got 50. Got it. I missed.
Okay. So yes, I'm going to say at this point, everybody is aware that there's gunfire in number 3 hold because there's been like 3 shots. So next up, is Adam, who's going to try to just take a swing. Which currently looks like he's hitting, but Roger, of course, has the ability to dodge or fight back or do anything else that.
Dodge. No.
Okay, so we're going to do. We have that, so I'm just going to do a d6 for a random pipeline object for 4 points.
Okay, that's good.
Um, and then we have Big Sue's coming round the corner.
Oh my gosh. Save me, Big Suze.
save me. All right. I guess. Well, he just punched Tremblay, and I have my knife, so I guess I'm going to stab him.
Okay. Well, he's basically not really aware of you, so it's pretty much a free action.
So is it just roll it, and as long as I don't fumble?
No, it's you still have to make a fighting brawl roll.
Okay. Any
Do
bonus
they
or
get a
anything?
bonus die?
I'll give you a bonus dice essentially for surprise. Yeah.
Okay. What did I roll? Really? That's not okay. Cool. Apparently, I missed.
Yeah. Okay. Well, at least he's now aware that he's getting surrounded. Um, Go ahead and make a. What do I feel like calling it?
Intimidation?
Um, I'm debating what to have Valentina roll as she comes in.
Make her roll the same jump check.
Well, she certainly has the same choices coming down the ladder of taking her time and just getting down to the bottom safely, getting down to the bottom in basically zero time, i.e., jumping, or doing the slide down the ladder dex roll for a half move, kind of.
Oh, I'm gonna go with the slide down the ladder dex roll, I believe.
Okay, and I would say also go ahead and do a spot hidden if you wouldn't mind.
Which one would you like first, sir?
Either one.
All right, I'm on the dex page, so we'll go with that.
Yep.
So that's a hard success.
Ooh, nice.
And my spot hidden is a regular success.
Okay, so you basically have the situational awareness of the rather chaotic situation of a melee in the midst of a bunch of rolling around big gasoline drums. You could approach it a number of ways. I mean, you could basically jump up and run over the packed, tied down gasoline drums to
Oh,
get.
absolutely.
I'd
Whatever looks the coolest.
Oh yeah. What do you intend to do when you get there? Because you'll have
Probably,
like half height advantage.
I'd probably leap on top of Alan. Is it Alan or Adam?
Adam.
Adam.
So call it a grapple combat maneuver, essentially.
Sure. Fight and brawl.
Yep.
Let's see here.
I'll let the hard dex roll carry so that you can do the step on only on the top of the gasoline drums as opposed to in between them.
Well, I fumbled, so there we go.
Well, so the problem is that Roger has already loosened some of the gasoline drums in the area, and they've started to fall over a bit. So just as you go to launch yourself, what you end up doing is instead kicking one of the other drums that's just sort of on the edge over along with everything else, and you basically end up falling flat on the ground right in front of Adam.
Fantastic.
Um,
This is going well.
so we will.
We have him surrounded.
Yep. Well, there is that. Come from here, don't I? So I think it's over to the next round, and as ever, it's Richard who goes first.
All right, that's it. I'm throwing this. I just dropped this gun. It's not working for me. There's people around to shoot other than the target.
Yep.
I feel like things could just go wrong. I'm just gonna brawl. I'm gonna literally try and tackle this person down.
Okay. You could also, of course, just sort of turn the gun around and use it as an improvised club.
Nope, too late. I tackled.
Okay. So,
It worked, I
Yep.
think,
Yep.
unless
Yeah.
he dodges or attacks back.
Exactly. Now it's just a case of can he dodge?
Well, he dodges me. He's out of dodges. So
Yep. Well, he doesn't dodge, so you've got him grappled at this point. You got him held.
I've got him, guys. Do something. That's I don't know how to do these things.
So next up, I think is probably Valentina.
She's
You-
using the
I
gun for
believe.
sure.
It's,
Well, what's
well,
Valentina's
I,
stats?
I am not using a gun. Wouldn't Big Sue's be next, or because I went not that long ago?
Well,
That's
you sort of ended up going last in the round just because you were
Okay.
outside of the main. So, but
Okay.
I imagine that the question is, do you have more than 65 decks?
Yes, I have 70, I believe.
Okay, yep. So yes, you would be next. So Roger has managed to get his arms around Adam and is holding him fast.
Hmm.
Now, of course,
We're in.
you are on the floor, lying on top of a couple of semi-rolling big gasoline drums.
I would probably get up and look around for something to tie him up with, whether
Okay,
it's rope or
go ahead and make a luck roll.
missed it by
It's okay.
3.
You didn't fumble it. Oddly enough, in the midst of this storage cargo hold, there is no end of rope, steel hawser, etc., etc. Tying things down material, there's aplenty.
Okay.
So you can easily stand up and grab. It's hanging every 6 foot along the walls, basically. Just
Okay.
um,
I grab something and start to move over to start tying him up then.
Meanwhile, Adam is going to try to break his way out. So go ahead and make a strength roll, Richard, if you would please.
That's probably not good either. Huh, I'm holding on.
Ooh, hard success versus my regular. Absolutely. You managed to keep him in. Suze.
he's
Yeah, he's reaching around and trying to escape Roger's firm embrace. Um, that's basically the scene that Stoddard and Wigglesworth see as they peer down in through the hatch cover at the top of the metal steps. What do they wish to do? As I said, there's basically three ways of getting down into the hold that take various amounts of time. There's or anything else that you may wish to end up doing.
Stoddard is not going to try to jump down. His dex is 45, which is why I was making the comment that there's that the knees aren't the greatest. But once he gets to the point where he can talk, he is going to try to use try to talk the guy to basically be like, give it up, man, before there's more injury. Don't make it worse for yourself. But I'm guessing he needs to get closer before he can do a persuade.
Yeah. Right now you're at the basically on the deck level, 2 levels above, looking down the.
Oh yeah, so all he can see is I'm gonna go with he can't even necessarily tell who's on top. He just can see that there's a mess. So he's gonna try the slide down, which I think is he's gonna try to go down as quickly as possible without he can't jump. It's not gonna work.
Okay, so that would just be a regular dex roll.
He doesn't make the dex roll.
Okay, there's no real harm since it wasn't fun. It just still ends up taking you basically end up just walking down rather than being able to get the slide to work. So
yeah, he
yeah,
can't fireman that.
And I don't know what's Professor Dr. Wigglesworth's plan.
Can I still spend my full action to get down carefully?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, that's the plan then.
Okay. So that swings us around back up to the top. So starting off with Roger's heroic embrace of the trying every which way, including biting, to escape Adam.
I mean, I gotta hold on tight. People, I mean, they're trying to tie him. They're trying to do something. Like somebody's gonna help me at some point. I see.
It does look like Valentina has at least managed to grab some rope.
All right, I'm yelling at Valentina. Hurry up! I don't think I can hold this guy. He's like a Tasmanian devil.
Valentina, what do you
Would
hurry
you like
up with?
some? I hurry up and start trying to tie limbs together is what I'm trying to do. Do you need a roll for that, or?
I think that's a fighting, brawl, immobilize maneuver.
Okay.
Or hog tie maneuver, as it were.
Oh, I was almost a 00, but I did not get it. It was a 75, so
75 is just okay. So yeah, he's just moving around. Unless you want to spend the 40 luck or try to push it. Well, it's a combat roll, can't push it.
Okay.
But yeah, he's reaching around just enough that you can't quite manage to get a good tie onto him. Which means that he gets his chance to try to escape. So a regular success on that. How's Roger managing to hold on? Ooh! Just makes him hold on even harder, eh? I see how this is going.
It's the adrenaline at this point.
Yeah. So Susan, continuing to
Yes, I'm trying to stab him so that he doesn't run away, because if he runs away, it becomes a whole big another issue. So let's hope this one hits. Oh, there we go. So how do you figure out damage for a hard success?
Hard success is just going to
Is
be
that
straightforward, but if you were to lock it down to a 7, so 7 luck would get you an extreme, which would get you an impale.
how much damage is did you say 7 luck?
Yeah.
Oh, screw it. This will be funny. Sure, let's do 7 luck.
Okay. 7 luck will get you an extreme. Let me just see if I can manage to dodge out of the way here real quick. just to be fair to Adam. Nope. Missed
Okay.
by 5, and he doesn't have luck to spend. So you're now doing maximum plus rolled.
Oh God. Okay, so maximum damage to start with, because this is my medium knife, because there's no way I could have hid my machete, is going to be a D4 plus 2, so 6, plus damage bonus, which is another 6, so it's 12 damage plus roll.
No, the damage bonus only, you only roll the damage bonus, you don't max it.
Oh. Oh, well, yeah. I thought I'm missing it. So what's an impale? Just simply max damage?
Max weapon damage plus rolled weapon damage. So it's 6 plus a d4 plus 2, so 8 plus a d4 plus your damage bonus for it, which is a d6, I'm guessing.
Okay, so 8 plus a d4 plus 2, so then 15
8,
damage.
eight plus a d4 plus a d6.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it's 15 damage then.
Yes. Let's have a look and see. 15 damage. So go ahead and make a luck roll, Roger, please.
Oh.
Oh my gosh. This one. Phew.
Ooh,
I'm
okay,
on a roll.
absolutely. Well, the good news is that in the reaching around an unstable footing environment, you manage to be just leaned off to the side out of the way as Susie's knife comes across and just cuts Adam's throat straight out, and there is this spurt of red viscous liquid as what remains of Adam just collapses. Everybody, I think even including Susan, gets to make a sanity roll.
What
I
the
think
heck?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
especially Susan.
Valentina failed, so
Yeah, I'm going to say that it's a D2 for a failure, because this was particularly gruesome.
Only a D2?
I was kind of thinking that too, but
Hey, don't talk it up.
No, it's if he stands up straight away and turns into a zombie, that's about a D4 for missing the sanity roll. So a D2 for a particularly brutal creation of a corpse feels about right.
So roll a D4 and divide by 2?
Yeah.
that's what I did.
and for Sue, seeing as she actually just murdered a man, I did succeed my check.
You succeeded your check. No, I think that's fine. I think Susan is enough of a wilderness gal that she recognizes the need to take down a wild animal.
I'm here for the argument that Susan's killed before.
Yep, back to
I
it.
was gonna say you can always voluntarily fail, but that is also a really good argument for her being okay with it.
Since Valentina failed, I think that there's just a spray of blood that hit her right in the face, and she just screams because she is not used to this.
Yeah, I mean, she's been to she's covered all sorts of various gangland involved deaths before now, but actually being there at the time and being covered in it is a whole different level.
No, I thought this was going to be a fun stakeout where we're going to catch somebody, and I just watched a man get eviscerated.
Mm-hmm.
Stoddard failed, and I rolled, so I get the higher amount of damage or sanity damage. So I'm pretty sure he like gets to the bottom of the stairs just in time to see, the second smile added, and probably throws up. There's that moment of oh. So it's like it's like on the wall to the side of or on the floor to the side corner of the ladder. So got one hand on it.
Yeah. Um,
Honestly, I think the only thing Roger would do is he would just go into doctor mode. He'd be like, I need a towel right away. Who's got a towel? Towel. And I just start screaming for, we gotta
yeah,
staunch the bleeding.
the whole rip off a shirt sleeve.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would rip off my shirt and hand it to him. I'm not trying to kill the man. I just stabbed him in the throat.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, it was unfortunate that he basically in trying to reach out of Richard's grasp just jerked his head back at just the wrong point in time.
Wasn't my fault.
It was somebody's fault. Is he? I think I may actually try to save him after all the hysterics are done.
I mean, I think it makes sense for the doctors to make like they're to like we have a medical doctor. Most of us, most of us don't have a whole lot of experience with death. That's actually a pretty standard human response.
Did I save him
I
before you
think
bleed out?
He's unfortunately beyond reasonable saving effort.
All right. Suze, you really did it this time.
Oh shucks.
So Stoddard is like obviously I had him throw up in the corner. He's gonna have that moment. So he wasn't exactly involved in the wasn't in a position to like here take my shirt situation. But Susie will take care of that. So he's probably gathering himself together around the time it's very obvious that this isn't okay, and he swears, he swears under his breath and goes, "Should I go get? Was it the captain or who was it that we were talking with? Sorry."
You were talking with Dr. Moore.
We should probably get Dr. Moore and the captain.
Valentina's just crawled into a corner, just kind of sitting there right now.
Maybe I should go back up with the dogs.
Does anyone
And
respond to Stoddard's thought about going to get the captain?
By the way, just for flavor, make a luck roll, Valentina.
Not even close. Not even a little bit.
Yep, that figures. So Valentina goes to just deflate and sit down towards a corner. As she does, she realizes that she's actually sitting down in something that's wet, and she's realized that she's actually sat down in a puddle of one of the leaking gasoline canisters.
It's not my day.
Not your day.
She'd get up and like just kind of walk away and just stand there and just like start to wipe down, try to get some of the stuff off of the blood, the gas.
Well, the good news is the gasoline is an excellent solvent for the blood, so there's that.
And I mean, honestly, I don't know about the captain or any of that. I'm still just in doctor mode. I can't break out of it. He's not officially dead until I think he's dead, and I don't think he's dead yet. I can save him.
Yeah, Stoddard isn't going to gainsay that. It's the, but, so it's like, I've got to say, hearing Wigglesworth talk about having to save him, goes, keep trying to save him, but the captain's going to need to know what he was trying to do.
He
The
was
captain,
he was down here. He was messing with blasting caps. He was doing things he wasn't supposed to do. But did he deserve this? I mean, no one deserves to die.
keep trying to save him. Should I go get, or should I wait to get the captain?
May as well get the captain. He's either gonna be here to witness him admit that he's done wrong, or he's gonna have to say pronounce that he's dead. One or the other.
And who knows how much longer till more people respond to the noise. All right, so if no one basically objects, Stoddard's going to go try to find more in the captain, because they kind of need to know about what was happening, and hopefully someone thinks about trying to stop the gasoline leak. But hey, we stopped a sabotage in question, or we found the saboteur in question in the act. Things got messy. Please come.
Oh, there's initially some happy excitement from both Professor Moore and Captain Friedenberg.
I should
Both words.
specify when he comes up to the captain, like he's looking like he is translucent pale. That he's probably a little. His breath's probably a little shaky. He's like, um, I need you. We need you to come with a. We found the saboteur. We caught someone in the act of sabotage. We stopped him, but things got messy. I need you to come. Like this is not a calm presentation. He's
Well, the two of them will quite eagerly follow Charles down the two sets of ladders down into the bottom of number 3 hold.
finds the temps of medical attention, sees the gas cans everywhere, um, sees the vomit.
Dr. Friedenberg, even as he just comes down the ladder, is somebody belay those gasoline cans in sort of absolute best captain of ship voice.
Oh yeah, those were spilling everywhere.
We'll call it an improvised. Oh, so with an ought to intimidate roll, everybody just stops, and somebody or a number of somebodies will right side the one leaking gasoline can at least, and probably start organizing the rest. Dr. Moore or Professor Moore moves forward and looks at Manning. 69/1 for a medicine roll. I'm not a medical man, he says, but doesn't look good.
Are you being silly? Of course it's not good. I've been working at this man for the past 2 minutes, and the blood's everywhere. It's not stopping. Are we pronouncing him dead? Is that it? I don't think there's anything more I can do to save this man.
The captain chimes in with, I don't think we have a choice.
Well, we found your saboteur. Unfortunately, we won't be able to find out if he has any accomplices at this point. But he's now dead, so hopefully everyone will be happy.
Well, from what I understand from what the young lady found in his cabin a few days ago, it seems like he was probably working alone. Um, the the payment note from the news service, the notes about his dislike of stark weather. Of course, anything is possible, and I'm sure the crew will be nervous enough that they'll keep their eyes and ears open. I would. He turns to Dr. Moore and says, the question is, how much more damage did he cause that we've yet to discover? And Dr. Moore looks suddenly quite concerned. As the captain says, we've got another 12 days or so of steaming before we get to Melbourne. Hopefully that's enough time that we can go through the rest of the cargo and see if there's anything else that we've yet to discover.
So are we going to announce this as well, or because I think we do need to say that Big Suze is no longer the culprit, or so that the fingers no longer point in her direction.
Absolutely. That falls to me, says the captain.
That's sweet of y'all.
And there's shortly it's about 5 minutes later, there is a now hear this, now hear this. All stations broadcast on the ship's tannoy, basically stating that the earlier incarceration of one of the expedition crew members was done merely as a ruse to try to bring out the actual culprit, who has been apprehended and dealt with. That is all. No mention of the fatality, no mention of whom it was. But it isn't long until the scuttlebutt on the ship basically identifies it that, okay, was Adam Henning as sort of the, okay, who's missing amongst the ship's crew. But nobody seems, there's all sorts of stories as to what's happened between being thrown overboard, being hidden away in one of the lifeboats, being put into the brig, being fed to the dogs. Did you see the scowl on Big Sue's face? So there's all sorts of scuttlebutt, but the captain at least keeps a tight rein on what he knows, as does Dr. Moore. I don't know if any of you wish to add to the confusion, or if you're just going to keep it quiet. Mean there is, of course, the issue of the laundering blood-stained clothing and so forth.
I will absolutely myth build so that I get a free intimidation check wherever I go on board.
Sounds good to me. But with that being said, the next 12 or so days, with the overall exception of there being a further and further increase in the pure pemmican portion of everybody's daily rations, the next 12 or so days pass quite peacefully. The weather remains fairly calm. And it's not too long that you find yourselves sailing along the Australian coast towards Melbourne, mid-October, which is an absolute treat after that long stretch at sea. Australia is turning from a mild winter into a warming spring. The coast of New South Wales is a delight to the eyes. There's mixed stands of conifers and broadleaf trees that march up gentle hills into the heights of the Great Divide Range. The forests are broken up by small areas of grassland, and the coast is dotted with thriving towns and cities. You round Cape Howe, and as you do, the sea turns yet again choppy, and a cold, hard wind drives most people below decks. Tasmania off to port. You struggle through the Bass Straits and around the Wilson Promontory. It's quite the relief to reach Port Phillip Head and the calmer waters beyond. Melbourne, of course, is located at the northern end of Port Phillip Bay, about 30 miles from its mouth. But the entrance into the bay is less than a mile wide and is known locally as the Rip. It's possibly one of the most treacherous navigable passages in the world. So I think I'm going to give the good captain a pilot vessel roll. Yeah, it's not a pleasant entry by any means, but you manage to do it without actually causing injury. And Port Phillip Bay itself is wonderfully calm and placid, 40 miles wide, 30 miles deep. It's one of the few natural harbours in all of Australia and the largest and most protected natural harbour in the world, the Bay Area included. The shores of the bay are highly built up, with lots of small towns linked by rail lines and locally run small sail and steam ferries. Miles and miles of wharves and berths nose out into the water, especially along the inward curve of Hudson's Bay. And you eventually, or not too far later, make dock in Port Melbourne. There is you've spent the last 12 or so days going through as much of the equipment as you've been able to get a hold of and test, and there's quite a list. So, well, for starters, you need to restock quite a bit of pemmican just because you've used an awful lot of it over the last couple of weeks. Um, but more to the point, you've also discovered that some of the large generators have been tampered with and were basically non-functional, so they'll need to be replaced. A lot of the photography equipment and chemicals have been spoiled. And then, of course, there's the overall food stock replenishment that needs to take place. So it's going to take probably about 5 or 6 days before you are able to leave again. Now, of course, things haven't gone entirely smoothly on your journey along here. So, for instance, you arrive on October 12th. Back on October 8th, you got a signal that the Tallahassee, so the Lexington expedition vessel, had arrived at Hobart in Tasmania. So they're still running 4 or 5 days ahead of you, and you're now having to take an extra 5 days delay. Needless to say, Merryweather is not a happy camper. Um, that is, although that is slightly alleviated by him being able to go out and greet the press that are waiting for the ship as you make dock in Port Melbourne, where he yet again can truly be in his element and schmooze his crowd, as it were. And I think with the safe arriving in Melbourne is the perfect spot for tonight to call it a night. So I will say thank you yet again to my wonderful players, without whom I'd be sitting here just talking to myself. And we will see you next time when, who knows, we might actually get to Antarctica.